Rid of this screen. And here we have recording again. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. Let's repeat what we just said. So the melanin cells, melanocytes that are growing in the stratum germinativum, sending granules that end up in the stratum granulosum. The melanin granules are to protect the skin from UV radiation. So what does UV radiation do? On the good side, it activates the synthesis of vitamin D3. What does it do that's harmful? Sunburn, wrinkles, malignant melanoma, and basal cell carcinoma. Many older people who have lived in sunny climates such as Texas end up in their later years, 60s, 70s, have they go to the dermatologist, and the dermatologist takes out a little plug that's developed based upon these melanomas or carcinomas. If they are not taken out in control, these cancers metastasize and people die from cancer. So a basal cell carcinoma, a melanoma, these are cells that will grow unchecked, and this skin cancer can spread all throughout the body and lead to an early demise of the person. So if you know anybody that has basal cell carcinoma or melanoma, it's a good idea to have it removed. So what's the keynote? The epidermis has many layers. It's flexible. It's a self-repairing barrier that's constantly growing to replace cells because your dead cells of the stratum corneum are routinely being rubbed off. It prevents fluid loss, protection from UV, produces vitamin D3, and resists damage from abrasion, chemicals, and pathogens. So next we have the dermis. The first layer is called the papillary layer. It's just below the epidermis. It's named for the dermal papillae. It's made up of loose connective tissue. The dermis supports, nourishes the epidermis, and provides sensory nerves, lymphatics, and capillaries. Capillaries carry blood. Some of that oxygen and food is given to the epidermal cells. The epidermal cells release waste like CO2 and other waste materials. The lymphatic system reabsorbs extracellular fluid that is leaked out from the blood vessels and returns that to the circulatory system. We'll find out about we're not going to take lymphatic in this course. You'll get that in AP2. So below the papillary layer is the reticular layer. It's tough with flat collagen fibers that are lined up and connect to one another and to make a very tough layer that limits stretch, and there's also elastic fiber. It blends into the papillary layer above and blends into the subcutaneous layer below. So what else is in the dermis? Cells of connective tissue is in the papillary layer. We'll talk about the epidermal accessory organs in a moment. Those are things like sense receptors, touch receptors, heat receptors, pain receptors. The cardiovascular system sends blood vessels into the dermis. Lymphatic vessels do the same. And the nervous system provides all type of sensation, from touch to pain to pressure to temperature, control blood flow and secretion of the sweat glands. And obviously, blood is needed to nourish the dermis and to allow the dermis to support and nourish the epidermis. So the keynote here, the dermis provides strength, flexibility, and protection, protects the hypodermis, helps hold on the epidermis, contains blood vessels and sensory receptors such as heat, temperature, responds to heat, uh, nerves that sense pressure and pain. So your epidermis, along with your dermis, is constantly giving your body information about where you are, what the temperature is, if you're in pain, who's touching you, how hard they're pressing against you, and so on. Okay, we'll stop there and go back to, and let's start where we get some more people coming in. Okay, so now we're going to stop recording for a moment. Stop recording. Stop recording. Stop.